What's up, guys? It's Collin from Built2Wander. I got Matt Thompson from 3D Off-Road with me.
What's up?
We brought my 2005 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, also known as the Samuel LJ, out to Ram Off-Road Park here just outside of Colorado Springs. We've been working on this thing for how long, Matt?
About 6 months.
6 months. It's been a long time coming, but we've made some crazy changes, and I can't wait to show you all of the magic that Matt made happen. So today we're gonna do a build walk around. We're gonna flex it out on some trails here and show you guys how well this thing works and what it came together like. So before we do that, like this video, subscribe to the Driving Line channel,
and let's get after it.
All right, so we got the Jeep behind us here. I'm just so stoked at how well it came out. So, you know, this thing, I bought it about a year ago and immediately brought it down to Matt's shop. I'm like, Matt, what can we do to this thing to really make it shine? How can we make it perform better off-road? And we kind of came up with a plan. Now, this thing already had an LS conversion, a 6-speed transmission. It's got spider tracks, fabricated 9-inch axle housings, and it sits on a 40-inch Nitto Trail Grappler. We left the 40 on it. We rebuilt it around the 40-inch Trail Grappler. I just love the Trail Grappler. We've had a lot of success with the 40-inch version, and we've run them on quite a few builds. I mean, Matt's Blaze JT's on the 40, Triton JL was on the 40, you know, 50 Shades had the 40-inch Trail Grappler. So wanted to keep that tire on here, and but what we did was we added some new armor. Matt fabricated a wild, fully custom suspension system, and we added some, you know, custom touches, new powder coat, some accessories. So this thing's a totally new Jeep.
It is totally new. I can't wait to show you guys. You know, we are different by design, and this thing is different than everything else out there. So excited to show you guys.
So why don't we go ahead and start this walk around? Well, why don't we talk a little bit about the suspension? We'll start up front, and then you can kind of walk us around from there.
What's up, guys? So like Collin said, you know, the 40-inch Nitto Trail Grappler is the staple of our builds. You know, it's been such a great tire to us. We really love it. You know, we decided to also build this thing around the Bilstein 12-inch coilovers and bypasses. Bilstein's getting back in the off-road market, and we're just loving these shocks, man. They work phenomenal. They're super tunable, and you know, so we designed this suspension on our driving style. We like to drive fast when we want to. We want it to absorb. We like it to also rock crawl slow when we're just trying to take our time and have a good day. So when we decided to do this build with Collin, you know, he came to us and was like, hey, I want coilovers, bypasses, and a trailing arm setup. And I was like, well, you know, let's see what we can do. It's pretty hard to do that on an LJ setup just because of the room on the tub. And we decided that we were not gonna cut the tub. You know, one of Collin's first builds was built on poison spider armor and that kind of stuff. So when he was reluctant enough to find an actual daddy long leg stretch kit, that just gave us so much excitement to be able to do what he wanted. So in the back, we decided to do a trailing arm setup, and we used a 46mm coilover and a 60mm bypass. And the reason we did that is because of room. Without cutting the body, you know, you really needed to make some room in there, and doing that 46mm coilover allowed us to do that. So we did all custom bracketry. We were able to stretch it like a daddy long leg, but do a trailing arm setup. So this thing has a 6.2 LS motor in it. This thing loves to drink some fuel. So we decided to put a 26-gallon GenRight fuel cell in the back. And you know, that way we could, you know, get places and not have to worry about running out of fuel so much. You know, the other things that we were able to add on to the suspension was, of course, we love anti-rock stuff. RockJock just builds a great product with their sway bars, you know, all their Johnny joints, their new aluminum arms. Man, they just, with the rock nuts on them, you don't have to worry about them coming loose. You know, after you're out flexing around and have to worry about checking that jam nut all the time. You know, the RockJock has always been just a staple in all of our builds that we've done so far. And we just love that joint. It's, you know, they're simple to rebuild, and you know, I just recommend them to anybody. But you know, the Samuel LJ has just been a special project to us. You know, yeah, it's taken us about 6 months, but we've done a lot of thinking around it. You know, we like to have a lot of up travel. A lot of Jeeps out there today, you just see them all slammed down low. They've got a couple inches of up travel on them. Well, we were able to maintain a decent ride height and still have 6 and 7 inches of up travel. That really just allows us to kind of cruise down the road without worrying about hitting the bumps all the time. And so, you know, it's been a super special build for us to be able to tuck it all up, make everything fit. Of course, you know, we always use PSC steering. You know, with the 3-link up front, you know, obviously everything gets really crazy busy up front. So everything clears. I'll be excited to show you guys how this thing flexes out and how it works across the road.
So some of you may remember way back, I built a Jeep called the Yeti-Con. It was a 4-door JK white, and I'd fallen in love with Poison Spider. That was back in 2012, 2013, back when Larry McRae owned the company, and the armor that they built was just so stout. You know, it was built for a purpose, high clearance, tight designs, and I remember back then Larry McRae had built, you know, Daddy Longlegs, which was a stretched Jeep LJ to 110-inch wheelbase, and he designed all of this armor to be, you know, for production so that others could go out and recreate a similar Jeep, because he knew there was a market for it. And nowadays you can't find that armor, they don't sell it anymore, but we stumbled upon someone selling some on Facebook Marketplace, so I snatched it up, and that was what really started this whole rebuild. I told Matt, I'm like, man, I want to stretch this thing, put it to 110-inch wheelbase, and that's exactly what we did. So we got the Daddy Longlegs rear corner armor, we got the Daddy Longlegs rock rails as well, which, you know, fit perfectly with this rear corner piece. And we maintain our same front fenders. They're aluminum Poison Spider front fenders. We kept the same front and rear bumper, but we did have mod finishes, re-powder coat everything for us. So all the body armor is black to match the paint on the Jeep. And we did the front and rear bumpers and the wheels in a bronze color, which I think just adds a nice subtle touch, gives this Jeep a little bit of character. And it's just funny because I just dreamed about having a Jeep like Daddy Longlegs, and you know, I realize it's definitely set up very differently from a suspension standpoint, but having that armor and that stretch and just kind of that overall look just has me super excited. So pumped with kind of how that came together. You know, so Matt mentioned all the crazy suspension changes that we made. He talked about the Gen Right fuel tank. I did want to bring up, you know, drivetrain. Like we said earlier, you know, we kept the same 6.2 LS, the 6 L80 trans. We've got an Atlas transfer case in here. We did add a set of Adams 1350 series drive shafts. Because we stretched that rear axle back 4 inches, we needed a longer rear drive shaft. The front really stayed the same. You know, Eric Miller, when he built this thing, he had pushed the front forward a couple inches, so we didn't really have to change that, but that front drive shaft just was tired and worn out, and I didn't want to have any issues on the trail. You know, we're getting ready to take off for the Rubicon Trail in this thing, and I just wanted that peace of mind, you know, that Adams drive shaft gives us. We run them in all of our builds. I know they're strong and that they'll hold up to the abuse that this thing's gonna see, so it's great to have that peace of mind. Now up front, we added a Warn winch, we added a Factor 55 Fairlead and Ultra hook, and we also added a Baja Designs S8 light bar with S1 pods at the corners of the bumper, tied right into the fog light switch in the factory control stock on the Jeep. So those little S1s, I mean, they're small, but they pack a punch. They're bright as can be, and they're perfect for fog lights because being amber, you know, when you're in fog or dirt and dust, as we're out here in the desert, you know, it just gives you so much more visibility at night versus that white light. So really, really excited about that. I think we'll go ahead and open the door here, and I'll have Matt talk about some of the changes that we made to the interior next.
All right, guys, I want to show you some of the details that we did inside this thing. You know, we always like to have the interior look as nice as the exterior does. So we decided to go with the PRP Enduro Elite seats. We had custom stitching, custom colors to match the interior. We also put the Built2Wander logo in it for Collin. One of the other things that we did at 3D Off-Road was we kept the flip and fold seat. You know, not a lot of people do that. This way he doesn't have to worry about somebody climbing all over these brand new seats that he's got. You know, we found a Poison Spider cage that we had mod finishes powder coat for us, just to match the front and rear bumpers and the wheels to tie everything together. One of the final touches that we did is we added in a Dakota digital dash. It's one of their new products out for the TJ LJs. That way, with everything on this LS, he can see all the gauges work, because he's going to drive this a lot, and you know, we just want to make sure that all that stuff is able to be read and work like it's supposed to. So, you know, super excited how the interior turned out on this thing. It's super pretty inside, and can't wait for you guys to see it with the top off.
All right, Matt, so thanks for doing the walk around with me, man. I appreciate it. I feel like we pretty much covered it all.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait till everybody to see this thing.
I am so stoked with how it came out. And like I said, we're at Ram Off-Road Park. We maybe have an hour of sunlight left, so let's go ahead and get this thing flexed out, show you guys how well the suspension works.
Let's do it.
All right.
What do you think?
This thing is so amazing. It flexes so well.
You liking it?
Oh my God, this thing's, I love this thing. This is gonna be amazing.
So there you have it, guys, the Samuel LJ 2.0, different by design by 3D Off-Road. I seriously cannot thank Matt Thompson and his entire team down at 3D Off-Road for their help. A lot of his guys put a lot of time into this thing with him, and honestly, it's just kind of a dream come true for me. I'm so pumped with how well this thing came together. If you guys follow along, we're gonna be hitting the Rubicon Trail here shortly for the 70th anniversary Jeepers Jamboree, and you'll really get to see how well this thing works out on one of the toughest trails in out there South Lake Tahoe. So do me a favor, drop me a comment below. Let us know what your favorite part of this build is. And as always, hit the like button if you did, and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, wander on.
Thanks for watching Driving Line. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing to our channel so you'll never miss any of the content we create here. Whether you're into trucks, Jeeps, imports, domestic vehicles, or anything in between, we are here to fuel your passion. So hit that subscribe button and we'll see you guys next time.